I did a video during my last live stream about about the about Jimmy Dore and his whole his whole force the vote effort. And it was kind of a long rambly video. I'll admit. It was like a half hour. It was part of a live stream, and I clipped it. It was like 27 minutes long. But I had the headline: Jimmy Dore is not helping the left. And I don't know how many people actually got through the whole thing, and before they started just dumping on my my channel and my video, and a few dozen Jimmy Dore stands downvote my video, and they all go, "Look at the ratio, bro! Look at the ratio! Shut up and listen to us." They did all kinds of stuff. Oh man, they said, "Look at your beard, bro." They called me fat, everything you could think of. Said I must be comfortable, and have health care when I don't. And all of that. And I made that clear in the video. Look, I want Medicare for all. I would just like it to pass when we get it. And the reply was, well, when will it pass? Or when could it ever, why isn't there any better time than now? And, it to me, it belies a very, like, I don't want to be too demeaning, but it's a very naive view of politics. Also, some of the biggest proponents for this whole thing have been, misrepresenting certain things. Like, I really do like Brianna Joy Gray, but she keeps, her and others keep sharing this 80% of Democrats support Medicare for all. 80% of Democrats do support some form of government-run healthcare, but most of that is for a public option. Or a lot of it anyway is for a public option. But when you start using the language of abolishing private insurance, a bunch of them squeak off in the corner. So it doesn't have the support that they would like it to have. And this is the thing. This is my big thing about this whole Jimmy Dore force the vote thing. Jay Coleman, Jimmy Dore is just mad AOC won't come on his show. Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the big attacks they made the big gripes they made with me is, you're just complaining about Jimmy Dore. You're just complaining about Jimmy Dore. So I'll get to Jimmy Dore in a second, or in a minute. But first, like, on the merits of force the vote. First of all, yes, you should leverage Nancy Pelosi's speakership for whatever you can get. I was of the opinion then, and still now, it hasn't been shaken, that committee appointments do matter for progressives, for freshman progressives like AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. We now have two and more newcomers coming into the squad: Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman. I would like to see them on committees. You look at you look at what Katie Porter has done with committee appointments. All the viral videos. This is part of what matters in politics, is getting people's attention. Just like in this online political, on YouTube or whatever, it doesn't have to be about politics. Getting people's attention matters. And if sitting on committees and grilling important people, CEOs, other government officials. I remember when Ilhan Omar grilled that one ghoul about, I can't remember his name, about his praise of the frankly genocides we committed in South America, the support of death squads. Being able to grill people like that is political power. And part of what the left, or at least the Jimmy Dore, we could call derisively the dumb left, don't understand is that the left doesn't have the power they think it does right now. Bernie Sanders didn't win the primary. You could say he got close, but once more conservative-leaning states like South Carolina were going to weigh in, it was well known that Joe Biden was the stronger contender. And of course, the Democratic Party, you have to fight against the entrenched interests in the Democratic Party. You have to fight against the corporate influence and corporate media, and all of that is there. It's an uphill slog. It's a struggle every step of the way. But if you just think that forcing a floor vote of Medicare for all is going to accomplish anything. You know what it might accomplish? It might make Medicare for all less popular. It might seem like a losing policy to more Democratic voters, and they might be less likely to vote for people in primaries if they are running on Medicare for all against a conservative or blue dog or just centrist Dem. So there is a, pardon the phrase, there is a bit of shooting your wad here, like expending political capital when you maybe should hold on to your cards at this point rather than lay them on the table. So now on to Jimmy Dore. Jay Coleman, absolutely don't tarnish Medicare for all right now. This is the thing. It's like a political bartering chip. Like, we can use this to run on, and you want to, again, throw all your cards down on the table already. It doesn't make sense when you can use it to run on. And part of this is they don't understand the place that we're in right now as the left, that we don't have the power that they wish we had, that they think we have. And this was the main thing I argued for in my video. We need long game thinking. We need strategy. It's time to get serious, grow up. It's not a performance, it's politics. Okay? And frankly, vilifying the best people you actually have in Congress as gaslighters, as evil as the enemies, as Jimmy Dore want to do, it's the left shooting itself in the foot. It's the left attacking its own, doing what it does best, it seems, disempowering itself. People saying AOC is just a politician. Yeah, sure, she's a politician. But literally, like, just a few years ago, she was a bartender. She's a working class person. Bernie Sanders, yeah, he is he's a career politician. But he's the guy in the Senate right now filibustering for $2,000 for every American who makes under $75,000 a year. He's the guy actually fighting for us. So people want to say, the dumb left and Jimmy Dore stands want to say that they're traitors and they're not fighting for us. Fuck off with that noise is what I say. I think it's childish. I think it's stupid. And frankly, if we go along to Jimmy Dore, Jay said he's just mad AOC isn't coming on his show, which I think is true. But who was Jimmy Dore standing for the presidency this whole time? Tulsi Gabbard. That's where his judgment was for Tulsi Gabbard. Also, she went on his show, of course. But Tulsi Gabbard, I seem to, and this is the other thing with force the vote. Medicare for all is important. Yes, it's a pandemic. First of all, Medicare for all would take years to roll out. It wouldn't solve the pandemic. But people have more pressing needs right now, like the stimulus money. Who wrote the standalone bill for the $2,000? It wasn't Tulsi Gabbard. It was AOC and Rashida Tlaib. So there's that too. And I don't want to say a ton about it, but I just think The other thing about it was Jimmy Dore did like the easiest thing for somebody with a platform of his size, which was stir up a Twitter mob. It's easy to do that. I'm sorry, it's not difficult. And to stir up a bunch of people on social media who think they're actually doing something. That's my cat again crying. Come here. Maybe I can show you guys my old cat who's whining at me. It looks like the other one's activated too, the little guy. Oh, little cat fight going on. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Getting distracted by my felines here. Just sitting on the internet, which is, I'm not going to, act like what I'm doing is anything special. I'm literally just a dude sitting on the internet right now. But sitting on the internet and yelling at people, whether it's AOC or a dude like me with 200 subs to his name on YouTube, calling people evil and traitors and gaslighters. Is that a really way to build solidarity in a left movement? Or is it to get smart, read up, stay informed, be aware of who can be primaried, of, who's in, deep blue districts, who's been Democrats in the House who've been there a little too long and could definitely stand to be primaried, how are we going to hold on to the House majority? First of all, how are we going to win the Senate? I know Ossoff and Warnock aren't, they aren't Bernie Sanders or Ed Markey, but if even austerity Joe Biden is going to get anything done at all, we need the Senate. So was this really the best time to start this big giant argument on the left? Especially when, consider this, look at what the Republicans are doing. You have these young Republicans in the House who are starting this freshman Republicans form conservative, quote, squad. There's a new crew on Capitol Hill. The squad is facing opposition from a record-breaking diverse Republican class of freshman members, and they are calling themselves the Force. Ooh, the Force. I want to create a force within my freshman class that will have to be reckoned with, a force of reason, a force of freedom, a force of democracy, Florida Republican Congresswoman-elect Maria Elvira Salazar, a Cuban-American former journalist, told NBC News. Salazar is part of the most diverse freshman Republican class in history, with 8 members who identify as a person of color or minority, and they plan to be a counter to the progressive squad led by New York Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, with what they say is a message against socialism. Quote, when I hear this democratic socialism that is beginning to be presented within the Democratic Party, I can only tell you that only brings misery, oppression, and exile. And how do I know? Because I have lived it, and I have covered it, Salazar said. Valor just said, Republicans want to be like AOC so bad, LOL. Yeah, they do. Jay Coleman, the internet left is kind of the minority trying to herd the majority. We have to be pragmatic. Yeah, and we also have to examine ourselves and look at how many people we may have turned off with our tactics, myself included, during the primary on Bernie Sanders' behalf. But look at this. The Republicans, they're trying to play this game of being, they have, interestingly enough, this Cuban American woman, she's not from Cuba. Her mom's from Cuba, so she didn't experience it directly. She has, her mom telling her about it. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of, what's the lady? She's anti-Trump, but Ana Navarro, a famous Republican, Latina woman. I'm a woman of color Republican, and she hates Trump and everything. She's a never Trumper, but she's like, she talks proudly about being from a family of Contras, the right wing, death squad leaders in Nicaragua. So that's kind of the ideas there coalescing around these anti-socialist ideas, like I don't know. We can think of Pinochet and in Chile, and look at the attempted coup in Bolivia a few years ago. So this is what the Republicans are now organizing against, and it's funny to say this is a historically diverse Republican freshman class. You don't need that many people of color in the Republican freshman class for it to be historically diverse, but they're already branding themselves as the new squad. We are the new squad, right? And let's just be real. This is not the first time. Here's from the this is from early 2019, from the just after the midterms. Conservative squad to combat socialism. The only difference is these are all white women, of course. Right? This is in the thick of Trump, the Trump, first term. So there weren't really that many women of color joining in. But 4 female conservative congressional candidates have banded together in a, quote, conservative squad. So at least this one now, they came up with their own name, the Force, but, we'll see how popular they really are. But, people, especially in this force the vote thing, they gotta recognize. I keep hearing these in my comments, these comparisons to the Tea Party. What happened to the Tea Party? The Tea Party completely burnt out and fell apart, and they any of them that were left, like Ted Cruz or whatever, just bowed the knee to Trumpism, and they became Trumpists. So, if the social democratic movement that's in Congress is going to continue and is going to grow, we need to be strategic. We need to be smart. This is the biggest thing I got from our dearly departed Michael Brooks, is just hearing him say enough times, we have to be strategic. We have to pick our battles. We can't just be we can't be hung up endlessly on identity politics and cancel culture and all that stuff. Clearly, we have to incorporate anti-racism in with class consciousness and class critique. And that's what I think people like Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush, and AOC, and Ilhan Omar, and Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley do masterfully, is they will speak on race, but they will also acknowledge the class implications and bring those into it. And that's super important. And I think that's how there's a line from Lord of the Rings. I hope you guys will indulge me. Valor McConnell just commented, the Force, Star Wars reference, shouldn't they be the Sith? Yeah, they're the Empire. Let's be real. The right is the Empire for sure. We're actually rewatching Star Wars right now, and I do think the political references are pretty milquetoast, but they're there. It's even George Lucas has admitted he was doing more of the soap opera stuff, like you're my father, you're my sister, we kissed, it's weird, all that stuff. But if I may do a Lord of the Rings reference, in the Two Towers, after Gandalf comes back, right? Gandalf 2.0. He's speaking with Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn. I'm talking about the book, people. You might not have seen this in the movie, but he's talking to them after they meet with him in Fangorn Forest, and they're like, "Well, where are Merry and Pippin?" He said, "Well, Treebeard, Treebeard found them. They're with Treebeard. You don't have to worry about them. We should, go on to do this other stuff." And they're like, "Wait, what are you saying? We're just going to leave them with this ancient forest spirit?" Like, that's weird. WTF Gandalf? And Gandalf says this line. He says, "I believe Merry and Pippin will be like the first small pebbles falling down the side of a mountain that create a mighty avalanche." And if you look at 2018, the midterms, that's what AOC and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib and the rest could be, is the beginning of a larger movement to take back the Democratic Party from neoliberal corporatists and put it back in the hand of progressive social Democrats who are of the working class. Cori Bush was a single mom living out of her car, got COVID during her campaign. Jamal Bowman was a school principal. I can't remember. He might have been superintendent, but I believe he's just a school principal, which, education has long been one of the, it's been a blue collar job being in, grade school and high school education. Working people who get degrees often go into education. That's what I'm attempting to do. We need more teachers. We need more, just working class people of all creeds, all ethnicities, all religions, to create a truly, a left progressive push. Nancy Pelosi will go away. Dianne Feinstein literally can't remember the briefing she had in the morning. I'm not making light of it. It's sad on a human level. But Joe Biden might not run for a second term. He might. But these people don't have long left, these dinosaurs. There's already, a bunch of, not as young as the squad, not as old as Joe Biden, of course. More conservative Democrats. They need to be primaried too. Jay Coleman, thank you for saying this. We can't start our own party, then battle the two major parties. Overtake the Democratic Party is the strategy. Yes, and I have nothing but love for Cornel West, Dr. West. I have nothing but love for Cornel. But him trying to, jump in on this third party stuff, I think you're losing sight of the target. You're dropping the ball here. The real mission is, and okay, if you're so far left that you're just saying, well, no matter what, AOC and Bernie Sanders are gonna, they're still gonna support American empire and they're all of that stuff. I'm sorry, but Bernie Sanders talks about defunding the military and sending that money elsewhere to the American people. So does AOC. You can, and I don't want to use the term purity test because everybody does. But if you're going to have such stringent requirements of even a freshman House member, that you're going to call them evil over, some specific thing. I do think foreign policy is very important. Bernie Sanders, by far on his platform, had the most progressive foreign policy ever. But we just don't have the numbers there yet. And are we going to build this movement, or are we going to just fight over the minutia of it? Coalition building is what we need to be focused on. That's what I think.